Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.
We're back on the morning drive here at Mira Business FM, and today is Independence Day of Indonesia. Michael Ferraran is with me. We're going to look at some of the news and views and bits and pieces going on today. But first of all, Independence Day of Indonesia. You are a food fan. You love Indonesian food.
Yes. Later in the show, we're going to have the founder of Bobby Bowl. After
Yes.
the show, I'm going to head straight to Bobby Bowl to have my lunch. So, happy Indonesian Independence Day. I'm going to celebrate with the Indonesian friends here.
Well, Silvana Sari's back on the show, and a couple of months ago, they faced really, really tough times, almost closed. We'll be talking to her later about what's happened in the interim, because they've kind of turned things around.
Yes, good for them. I met Silvana, I think, last week. We had a small chat, and although it's not 100% doing well, there's a big improvement from the last time we talked to her. So I'm excited to hear her story.
Also, Dubai It. I think everybody's talking about that. And Dubai Invite, which I'm kind of hearing a few things about. Tell me about that.
So these are two initiatives from the Dubai government, to show that we're doing okay, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's exciting because Lucy Bradley, she's already actually outside. She's going to talk about how campaigns help businesses, especially during difficult times. She's also going to tell her because, remember, a few months ago, we interviewed her and the CEO of Save Our Soap, of the Camel Soap, Stevie Lomas.
That's right,
They're going to
yeah.
talk about they're almost on their target of selling 25,000 bars. So
It's a really good story, that, because when Stevie was in, this was all about keeping the business going, and it had been really
Yes.
tough. Yeah. So that's on this morning. And then I've got two words here. It's not rude. Pax Silica. What's that all about?
So it's the AI race between US and China, apparently. Well, obviously, the Philippines is in the middle of it. It's a big conversation now, even in Filipinos living here in the UAE, because is it going to be able to provide jobs, or is it just going to, destroy whatever's left of Philippine natural resources? So we have someone to discuss about it more thoroughly.
Okay, the impact on ordinary Filipino people as well. Also, the founder of a direct debit system, DDS, Umair Butt's going to be here this morning.
Well, DDS is not really a nice acronym for me because it also means die-hard Duterte supporters. But good news for Filipinos, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a startup business here in the UAE. I admit I don't know much about the platform, but I'm excited to hear more about it.
Okay, we'll get the details later. News this morning, a couple of news stories that we're going to be following. The details now. US President Donald Trump's 60-day deadline for Iran expires today. Where are we?
Well, Tim, on last Saturday, the Iranian Prime Minister posted on Telegram that negotiations are still not underway. In fact, the conflict continues and no comprehensive agreement between Washington and Tehran is in place.
Right.
The deadline was set last June as the U.S. pushed Iran towards negotiation on its nuclear and missile programs, sanctions, and freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Today, August 17, the 60-day period ends with those key issues still unresolved. The Strait of Hormuz remains a major concern for the regional and global markets. Obviously, we've been talking about it a lot. It's one of the world's most important energy and shipping routes, and commercial shipping through the waterway continues to face significant security risks. As a matter of fact, the UAE has itself been directly affected. On August 14, an ADNOC vessel came under attack while transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The UAE said the vessel was attacked by Iran, while ADNOC reported no injuries and said the situation was brought under control. This was the latest in a series of reported attacks involving ADNOC vessels in the strait. The UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement, strongly condemned the latest incident, calling for an immediate halt to what is described as unprovoked attacks, an end to hostilities, and the full reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. UAE Presidential Advisor His Excellency Dr. Anwar Gargash said that the repeated attacks would not push the UAE away from its approach of deterrence, diplomacy, and international law. He also affirmed that the UAE would defend its sovereignty and its right to freedom of navigation through the strait. The incidents are adding further pressure to a shipping route that is already seeing significantly reduced commercial traffic. For the UAE, the implications are direct, but the country has alternatives. The UAE has invested heavily in ports, logistics, infrastructure, road and rail networks, giving it options to keep essential goods moving even when the shipping through the Strait of Hormuz is disrupted. These alternative routes, let me emphasize, are helping maintain the flow of food, supplies, and other essential goods to people and businesses across the country. So, I think the main point of this news here, team, there's still an ongoing conflict, but the UAE is doing everything, to alleviate the effects to the country.
Sure, to mitigate the effects. I mean, I'm just back. Came in yesterday morning. The airport was pretty busy. Flight from London, which I came back on, was full. Lots of people coming. So hopefully, keep fingers crossed, I guess. UAE continuing its humanitarian efforts in Gaza is another story you're following this morning.
Yes. On August 16, the UAE announced that 5 humanitarian aid convoys carrying 67 trucks and 683 tons of assistance had entered Gaza during the week. The shipments include food and shelter supplies and are being delivered under the UAE's ongoing Operation Chivalrous Night 3. The latest delivery is part of the UAE's continuing humanitarian response to conditions in Gaza. Alongside the humanitarian effort, the UAE has joined 7 other countries in a joint statement on the proposed Gaza peace plan. The statement was issued by the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, Indonesia, and Pakistan. The 8 countries expressed support for efforts to advance the proposed peace roadmap and criticized Israel's rejection of the plan, saying this could undermine efforts to end the conflict and establish lasting peace. The roadmap includes provisions for a halt to military operations, the disarmament of Hamas, an Israeli military withdrawal, and the reconstruction of Gaza under a new Palestinian civilian administration. However, major differences remain over the implementation of those proposals. So, we're gonna do further updates in the coming days about it. Team, if we hear more about it.
Michael Ferrone is the man who does much of the work behind the scenes on this program, keeps up to date with the news and all the stories that we try to follow. Also, resplendent in Outcast shirt today as well,
Yes, I don't know. It's the first shirt I saw this morning, so I wore it to work today.
It's brightened up my day, so thank you very much.
Thank you. And before I forget, team, all the latest updates, just look at the Morning Drive podcast and search Mira Business FM. All the podcasts will appear on your favorite podcast platforms, Luxury Breaks, the fine print, everything's there.
Okay, this is Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio. Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
It's the morning drive. The Philippines is being drawn deeper into the global AI race as the US pushes Pax Silica. It's a partnership aimed at securing critical supply chains for semiconductors and AI. But what does it mean for ordinary Filipinos? For the approximately 700,000 or thereabouts Filipinos in the UAE, and obviously millions more around the world, it's not just about chips and data centers. It could affect jobs, investment, and the kind of industries that the Philippines builds at home. The question isn't whether the country should develop, it's whether that development creates lasting opportunities for people, for Filipinos. Rosby Guzman is Executive Director, Head of Research at the EBON Foundation. It's a Philippine research and advocacy organization focused on economic, social, and political issues, and joins us on the line now. Rosby, good morning.
Good morning, Tim, and thank you for having me.
It's good to have you back. I'd like to get to the heart of what this means for ordinary people with you, Rosby. But first of all, in simple terms, what is Pax Silica?
Pax Silica is a United States-led initiative to advance manufacturing of semiconductors and artificial intelligence. Pax for Peace, as is in history, we had Pax Romana, Pax Americana, where there was peacetime supposed to be led by one hegemon. So now they're attributing Pax or peace to Silica, which is a production of silicon dioxide, the main material for semiconductors, for chips, for artificial intelligence. And the US has the initiative with 23 countries, including the Philippines, to set up the supply chain for this.
Okay, so why is the Philippines in particular part of this initiative? What's the US hoping to achieve?
Actually, for the US, the objective is very clear, and that is to gain technological dominance over China, because there's already an artificial intelligence race between the two powerful countries. But for the Philippines, the US and the Marcos government has been hyping the Pax Silica as probably like a jackpot for our semiconductor industry, or maybe our last chance for national industrialization, because they say even the United States Department was already saying that compute is at the 21st century will run on compute. So our government is saying, okay, this is it. This is our last chance for industrialization.
I mean, this is becoming a big issue in the Philippines right now, but I'm wondering why such a big issue, but also this could mean good things for the Philippine economy and for Filipino workers, couldn't it?
Yes, the debate has already focused on the fact that the costs are far outweigh the benefits for the Philippines from Pax Silica. People now are talking about how much land, how much water, energy, how much critical minerals do we have to give up for this initiative, or for the hub that is supposed to be carved out for Pax Silica. People are also talking about the farming communities being displaced, the Aitas or indigenous peoples being displaced, just to give way to this initiative. On the other hand, for EBON, we are also measuring it in terms of how much investments are really needed for the country to industrialize, or how much investments or jobs will be created with this initiative. And that is when we come to the conclusion that the price being paid for what is being promised is actually higher than reality. So that's where the debate is revolving, and then that's the social debate is ongoing. And it seems like the benefits are losing in terms of, the government is losing the debate, because it cannot show the real benefits, and it doesn't have really a plan, or all it shows are frameworks of critical minerals agreement, frameworks of aerospace business, but these are just promises.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's this balance, isn't it, between investment and jobs that the Philippines needs, and then the concerns of is this worth it? Hence this growing opposition. I mean, some critics worry that the Philippines could benefit less than the US. Natural, of course, and other countries. Is that a valid concern?
Yes, definitely. If we look at the supply chain of semiconductors or even artificial intelligence, we can start with architecture, the platform architecture. Definitely, we do not have that engineering skills. And then the next one will be probably the raw materials. Of course, yes, we have the critical minerals for AI, and then maybe we can move on to equipment manufacturing. So definitely, we do not have the manufacturing capability to create the equipment needed to produce semiconductors. Next one will be probably wafer fabrication. I think there are just two countries who can do that, and they're not transferring anytime now that technology to any country. And then we can look at assembly, testing, and packing, and that's where the Philippines comes in because that's a very low value added stage of the whole supply chain. So we can provide labor for that. And then other maybe logistical needs like if we're having data centers or hubs, we can provide water, energy, and other natural resources for them. So if you look at the whole supply chain, the Philippines will provide the raw materials, the minerals, then we'll provide the cheap labor for ATP or the assembly, testing, and packaging. And there's nothing left for us, for instance, to have technology transfer that someday we can actually manufacture the equipment. So it's really a very asymmetrical plan where the Philippines somehow is reminded of its neo-colonial role of just providing the raw materials and just providing the cheap labor, and you don't get anything in return. The promise of technology transfer is not there. The promise, not even of probably processing our own minerals now. That's what the PAC Silica proponents are saying, that eventually the Philippines will have its own processing facilities, etc. Okay, that's one step forward from our backward conditions of just providing the raw materials or the critical minerals by extracting and exporting them. Now we will have them processed here in the country. So, okay, so we have advanced, right? But the processed materials now will not go into our own industries, but will go to the US supply chain of its own high industries, high tech industries. So it's the same asymmetry that we have been experiencing for the last maybe 80 years or just take 40 years maybe.
Okay, so even though there will be some investment, increased technology, perhaps better jobs, the main criticism that some people put forward is that, opposing PAC Silica, if we balance this argument in a way, if you oppose PAC Silica, you're simply anti-development, is the thoughts of some. What would you say to those people?
Actually, yes, we have heard that, and we have also engaged in that kind of banter. I wouldn't even call it debate because those who are saying that cannot even define development. So, as for even we always go back to the definition of development. For the Philippines to be called a developed country, and I think any developed country will attest to this model, is that we must be able to produce from our own materials, our own needs. So the local materials will be applied with local labor, and that will definitely be for local needs. And that's when we can take care now of our not just big industries, but food security. We can take care of our basic needs. We produce them, we don't import them, we do not rely on any country. So there's self-reliance in that kind of planning. And then we can move forward to higher industries or higher manufacturing, relying on our own materials and on our own capability or skills or even human resources. So for us at Ibon, that is development. And then we can take care now of people's welfare and people's well-being. And that's national development. I don't think there is any country that is developed at this point who did not protect its own industries, who did not endeavor to really create their own materials, to make use of their skilled labor force, or to increase education among their population so they can have national development. There is no country that simply relied on foreign investment, simply relied on foreign imports just to get by and just to say, yes, that is our idea of development. That is not development. That is actually an anti-development approach. And Pac Silica is just going by the bankrupt model already of the Philippine government of relying on foreign investment without even imposing any performance requirement or any restrictions or policy restrictions so that the foreign investment will be beneficial for the domestic economy. There is no such thing for the Philippine government. So we're just going on with the underdevelopment or anti-development policy, or the lack of development policy even for the Philippine government. So I think that's why they're so excited with Pac Silica, because it's like a jackpot for them, but it's actually no efforts to develop our own industries.
Well, history is littered with examples of development which actually tends to be exploitative, I guess. So I can understand that. There's also a view among some people against Pac Silica that it's the US, therefore, they oppose it. How do you separate legitimate concerns about Pac Silica from simply being, from the anti-US camp?
Well, actually, Tim, you've already mentioned history, right? So I would just like to maybe draw some lessons from history. Intel is an American firm who has been here in the Philippines for 35 years. Intel created 1,800 jobs. Intel is the largest semiconductor firm in the country at the point that the Philippines was pursuing this export-oriented industrialization with semiconductors at the core. But Intel left us after 35 years with no semiconductor industry, with no technology transfer, with no jobs actually, because they had to, retrench all the workers because Intel left in 2009 during the financial crisis. Another example from history is Texas Instrument. Texas Instrument is almost 50 years now. It's an American firm as well in semiconductors. It's here in the Philippines, but it is not developing the semiconductor industry, not even developing the economy. On the contrary, in those 50 years, Philippine manufacturing has actually shrunk from a high 35% to just 17.3% now of the GDP. And likewise, employment since the 1960s has decreased from 10% manufacturing employment, 10% of the whole employment, to only 7.1% now. So we have actually deindustrialized with American investments and with the American firms. Now, if people are saying that, it's just because it's an American proposal, we're just drawing it from history. I mean, we don't want to go into that false binary that if it's U.S. versus China, then we're just against U.S. U.S. has been in the Philippines as the number one investor in the number one export market for the last 80 years. And what do we have? I mean, we are not industrialized. We are the slowest growth in Southeast Asia at this point. We have the highest unemployment rate in Southeast Asia. And I think that's telling already, if it's not really a red flag for the Philippine government, relying on foreign investment or even on the US to direct our development trajectory is really a false development plan.
Rosby, final question for you. Is there space for a genuinely pro-development, pro-Filipino Pax Silica deal, do you think?
I think if we look at any foreign investment deal, of course, Pax Silica, with all its framework and the essence of Pax Silica, as I said in the beginning, defining it as peace that is to be determined by Silica, and I even failed to mention that it's not just advanced manufacturing. It's actually building an industrial base in the Philippines, which is very near to the number one competitor in terms of military production, which is China, a U.S. competitor. So Pax means peace. Peace means in the use of pax is this one hegemon. So we don't want a pro-industrialization Pax Silica, because Pax Silica itself is for the US to regain its industrialization, to reindustrialize, to have what is this, to have technological dominance, etc. That's something, it's the US, what the US wants. So what we want for the Philippines is that there is an industrialization plan that is for the Filipino. There is an industrialization plan, or even a framework that that allows investments, whether these are private investments, by the Filipino. And then probably, of course, for Ibon, we would always want the government to have its own huge state investment, especially when we talk about energy, when we talk about utilities, or even oil. The government should be the one on top of that kind of investment, because those are the basis of real industrialization. And I think that should be in the equation. If we ever think of a hub, or if we ever think of artificial intelligence, that should be the basis of that development.
I often do this. I say one final question, then think of one more, if I can keep you for a second. For the approximately 700,000 Filipinos here in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and the millions around the world, why should they be paying attention to this?
I think the overseas Filipino workers should be paying attention to the issue of industrialization, because you see, we have been drained we have brain drain. I mean, these OFWs are skilled Filipinos. They are intelligent Filipinos, but they had to leave the country because there was no place for their skills, no place, no jobs to offer us. I already mentioned that jobs have shrunk, and we have very increased job volatility and high unemployment rate. They should also pay attention to it, because the Philippines should be looking forward to an industrialization plan that eventually will allow or will encourage our compatriots to come home to the Philippines and find themselves and find their places in our industrialization. But that is not happening, and so Filipinos are worried that the country is wasting all its resources, its critical minerals, just giving it to foreign investors. The unemployment remains really unsolvable, because government just relies on job creating foreign investments, and it becomes an issue for Filipinos coming home, or even for immigrants who would want to see the Philippines industrialize at last.
Rosby Guzman is an executive director, head of research at the Ibon Foundation, which is a Philippine research and advocacy organization. Rosby, it's always good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
It's a story we will continue to follow. If you enjoyed today's discussion, make sure to share it and leave a comment wherever you're joining us from at Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio. Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
It's the morning drive. It's Mira Business FM. Months into the region's geopolitical tensions, businesses are still adapting to the uncertainty and, I think it's fair to say, changing consumer behaviour, from Dubai's citywide initiatives to grassroots efforts like Save Our Soap. More on that in a moment. Campaigns are being used to maintain confidence, drive action and support businesses. Now, we were among the first to interview Stevie Lomas, who runs the Camel Soap Factory, and a campaign called Save Our Soap was launched a few months ago. The campaign is now reaching its targets, so it's time to follow up again with Lucy Bradley, who is the founder of Plug. She conceptualised the campaign. Is that right? Wait, is that what you do, conceptualise? Is that the right word?
Come up with the ideas and execute them.
So you would use like really simple words, and I just use a long, difficult one.
Yeah.
That I don't. Okay.
I don't know how to say conceptualise.
But you managed it just about. Yeah, well done. It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I mean, I'm interested to find out what's happened since you were last here, since the campaign launched, to look at what the campaign says about business resilience, all that good stuff. But you are nearly at 25,000 bars. That was the target.
We are, as of last Thursday, we are 23,640.
It must feel good.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you're smiling this morning, but just what was it like? What's it been like as people start to see? Because there's always, I think, cynicism about marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
You know, we're jumping in here. This is not going to be a thing. And I know that there were probably cynics at the start, but when people start to see this snowball and actually save a business.
Yeah, I mean, over the weekend and the last few days, everywhere I've been, everyone's heard of it. And also I was in the National. We were on the front cover of the National the other day, and we've got amazing coverage, but everyone's heard this campaign.
Yeah.
And I know one thing you just said a second ago, all these campaigns, I mean, in other businesses, I haven't actually seen much in terms of save our soaps, save our business, help us keep people in jobs. I haven't really seen much, if I'm honest.
I suppose there's Dubai invites. I know Emirates
yeah,
are
but
doing
they're coming from the
with,
top. I'm talking
well, they
about
are,
I'm talking about business owners who did what Stevie did, which was very brave, very honest, to say we're struggling, we might not survive.
Yeah.
I haven't seen many of those.
You're right, actually. What struck me about Stevie when she came in here, and this was before you and I met, was the guts to be as honest as she was and say, look, if I don't do something, because it's pretty drastic, it's not a huge number of bars of soap to do, to front up and say, I've got to do this now, and I have to be open. Yeah,
she was really uncomfortable. Was dreading the first newsletter going out.
Sure.
Said it was very hard. But the funny thing is, it wasn't hard for me because I just pressed the button. So it was like, her brand manager said, oh, she's, finding this really difficult. I said, too late, it's already gone out. Good.
But that's a good thing, isn't it? You can be kind of dispassionate about it because it's just a marketing thing. You believe in it, otherwise you
I knew it would work.
Yeah.
This is the thing. They were skeptical. All along they were skeptical until it started moving. And then they were like, oh, this might actually work. And, all credit to them. They did everything I told them to do. And even when my neighbours got the boxes delivered, it was missing the handwritten note. 8:00 at night, I was phoning the brand manager going, we can't have stuff going out with no personal handwritten note from Stevie. Can we please make sure this gets done? And I'm sure many people would be like, oh, God, tell her to go away. But they went, okay, yep, sorry about that. We'll take pictures. We'll show it's been done. And they did. They got on board with it. And I wrote a LinkedIn post last week where I said, be honest, if you were a business owner and you were facing closure, would you have done what she did? Not only be honest, but hire an advisor, an outsider to come in and say, we're going to run with this idea. Yes, it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, but we're going to run it and we're going to get there. Most people would say no.
So response has been good, right? The wider business community are looking at this and thinking, okay.
Hire Lucy, hopefully.
Well, you just put the plug in there very successfully.
Yeah,
See what I did?
yeah,
Plug.
yeah.
I know.
A plug for a plug.
A plug for plug. How did you know this would work? You're so confident about this.
I knew it would work.
But how? I mean, because it's indefinable.
Because it goes back to data.
Okay.
So they already had a database of past corporate clients, other businesses that they knew, past customers. And they always said they never really focused on the domestic market. So they already had a database that was gold. So all I did was work it harder and smarter and spread the word, because everyone in this time, in the last 6 months, has been looking for a happy story, even if it's not their story, but a happy story of a business saving themselves. And we all needed to see that. And I knew, because everything is so vanity driven out here, look at me, look how successful I am, look at the big car I drive. You know it. But for someone to come out and go, we're actually struggling, we might not survive, there's going to be a huge amount of empathy.
Yeah.
And I knew with the database, if you tell someone again and again and again, you will buy a bar of soap, you will, because it's going to help me survive. You will do this. You will do that. You tell enough people that, people follow. And that's what good marketing is those nudges. Remember, we're trying to keep the factory alive. Remember, we're trying to keep jobs. It's only going to cost you 38 dirhams to buy a soap again and again and again and again. And that's the secret to successful marketing. That and a vested audience who were going to be touched by this very genuine story, I knew it couldn't fail.
So it was a tug at the heartstrings for sure.
Yeah.
Particularly meeting Stevie, because Camel Soap factory products are heavily centred on Dubai duty-free, so tourism, leisure, and hospitality.
I was in my bath last night washing with Camel Soap factory.
It's good to know.
Really, ask me which one.
Which one?
The chocolate one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it does smell of chocolate.
That can't be a bad thing, can it?
I know, so it's all over.
Great to know.
Great segue.
I've lost my flow now.
Good. I like disarming people.
You do it well. Just how much of a difference do you think this campaign will or could it make for the business going forward? Because if nothing else, it's saved the business. It's kept jobs. There is a feel-good factor. I was at the airport yesterday morning coming through duty-free. It was busy.
Yeah.
So hopefully sales are going to pick up there.
Yeah.
But what could this campaign do for business going forward, do you think?
The good thing for them is they've now discovered a new market they didn't have. They have a domestic market. You have to remember 75% of those orders were coming in from brand new people.
Right.
75%.
Yeah.
So that's a new market to, a new audience to talk to, a new audience to engage with. So going forward, I mean, I don't know their long-term plans. Hopefully one of those plans involves keeping me on the payroll as their advisor. But they now have a new audience. So it's not just the tourist market. And also this was, remember, for those that don't know, but just in Terminal 3 alone, that was their main source of their tourists. That was 150,000 a month, just in the tourism for Terminal 3. And of course, all that was wiped out literally overnight. So now they have this new audience to talk to. They now have a nice following. So going forward, yes, it didn't save the business it saved the business. Yes, they didn't close the doors. They kept production going. Everyone kept their jobs, but it gave them that critical thinking time, to go, right, okay, now what do we need to do moving forward? That they're still in the game, as I call it.
Sure. So what have you learned from the Save Our Soap campaign about how people respond? What do you
about how I'm always right, perhaps?
Oh, nice.
Well, I teach marketing. I have a masterclass happening on the 4th of September, if anyone's interested. But
that's plug 2.
That's plug 2.
Yeah.
I've always said for years and years and years and years and years, your data is your gold.
Right.
So your past customers, your current customers, your future customers. I can't talk about this enough. And as I said, they had that. And I'm sure many people go, well, if they went onto social media, well, we tried that. And we tried sort of on their socials, we tried sort of sending direct messages and things like that. There was no input, there was no engagement. So I knew it was only going to be the data. And they're your ambassadors, they're your custodians, they are your influencers, whatever you want to call it, your past clients, your current clients, your future clients. And that was it. So the lesson has to be to all business owners who may be inspired and think, well, how did they do it? It was that. It was the most simple thing. It wasn't going out, getting an influencer. You asked me that last time, didn't you?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
did.
probably the most
It seems-
offensive thing I've heard, but yeah.
Well, no, for a lot of people, it seems to be the answer, and I wonder.
But it's not.
Well, exactly. I wonder if it is.
I think that culture is dying out. But the reason people lean on influencers, I think, isn't really about reach. I think it's because they would never do a Stevie, but they are far too lazy to sit down with their team and go, right, how are we going to get people back in the business? How are we going to sell? How are we going to keep people coming back into the business? How are we going to do some marketing? And the thing is, people don't spend money on great marketing these days. I mean, ask yourself, when did you last see a really good campaign? You go, that's really clever.
You just caught me because you're absolutely right. I mean, so this was a time when
It's like
Stevie.
fun people. When did you last meet someone here that was really fun?
You asked me that earlier, and I think I was supposed to say you. But no, I know what you mean. But this was a chance for Stevie, via you, to take the business by the scruff of the neck, really examine, and the answer was already inside.
Yeah, it was already there.
Yeah,
it was already there, and then when we put it out with our homegrown 25 to get more businesses involved, so we could pay in the favor. So if you promoted us, we would promote you. But the thing is, Tim, so many of those fell at the first hurdle because they didn't have data.
right.
They didn't have an audience. They didn't have a customer base to speak of. And they said, well, I could take your products with me and take a picture of them and post it on my Instagram. And I mean, for me, that's laughable, but that's the reality. That was the extent of what they could do. And bless them, you know, we're playing a bigger game in terms of marketing than that's me imagining it's a soap sitting there
In your hand, yeah.
in my hand. Or it could be this one.
It could be. It could be chocolate. I mean, who knows?
It's the chocolate one.
Okay, so it's always the chocolate one, apparently. So, what's the last 5 or 6 months been like for you?
As a business owner.
As a business owner.
I mean, I have clients. I have a couple of clients in the UK as well, and I have obviously my business here. But yes, I mean, I've seen many people who simply can't afford to invest in marketing.
Yeah.
I've been ticking over. I've got work on. I've always got work. I've got proposals going on. As I said, I also teach marketing. But I've seen, I mean, I talk to people all the time. In order to have an opinion on what I think's going on, you've got to keep talking to people and listening to people and seeing what people are saying. I'm very active in business groups. And I know there's a lot of people struggling.
Yeah.
And, but a lot of those people who are struggling also, if you actually said, well, what are you doing about it? The answer is usually nothing.
Usually sitting and waiting for something to happen to me.
I have friends. I have friends that have their own businesses, and they are usually sat on the sofa.
Okay, so let's look at the broader kind of economic picture in Dubai. What we have is some major sort of citywide initiatives, like Dubai It, or this a Dubai Invite, for example. From your perspective, what do you think about campaigns like that in terms of, you know, keeping economic activity up, keeping confidence moving? I mean, they're headline campaigns, aren't they?
Yeah, they're nice to haves, and I think they get people thinking.
Right.
You know, and thinking about perhaps what they're doing, what they could possibly do. I don't really know the Dubai invite. Is that the one where you invite somebody over?
Yeah, and there are discounts or hotel.
Well, so if you don't want to
tourism
invite
discounts,
someone over.
well, that kind of negates the idea of the campaign.
Right, okay, so I've got to like someone to invite them over.
Yeah, you have to go out and make some friends.
Right.
That's where it starts.
Right. Okay, maybe we could do an appeal for me to find some more friends.
We could do that. Anybody would like to befriend Lucy?
Yeah.
A plug?
Well, okay, so that kind of goes in with kind of the thing I've been saying for years as a small independent business that turned 19 years. So I will say I haven't survived by chance.
No.
But my ecosystem as a small business owner has always been, we should always be supporting one another because there is no top line support. There's no support coming down for small businesses in a crisis. This war has made us realize just how very fragile it is here. Okay. So my ecosystem, the thing that I believe in every day is we should always be supporting one another, buying from one another, referring to one another. And I go to lots of networking groups and I can never understand why more people aren't thinking in that kind of ethos. And I sort of sat and thought to myself, can you imagine if just 50% of the people that attend all of these networking events actually took that on board and did their own version of Dubai It, were extremely exceptional, what do you need help with? Who do you need me to introduce you to? Would you like me to help you find clients? What do you need? Can you imagine what we would be? You know, we would be in a much, much better position.
Well, it'd be good to pay things forward a bit more, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but we don't.
No, we don't.
Because the thing is, it goes back to not able to ask for help. We're playing the vanity game. Look how good I am. Not look how I look, not how good I am at what I do. So that's always going to be a bit buggered, really.
There's a classic dilemma. I wanted to ask you this just now, and I've just remembered whether businesses should keep on investing in campaigns and marketing and all those associated things when things are difficult.
Absolutely.
Or should they be cutting back and playing it safe? I mean, it would make sense to think, no, keep going. There's an opportunity.
If I'd have taken I was fired from the camel soap factory. I mean, I was fired in the sense they couldn't afford to keep me on. And then I had that month's notice. Yeah. And that's when I came up with the idea to save the business. Why not? I mean, if I had, and they said, oh, okay, it's over. And if I had done nothing, so I had been cut back and I had stepped back and I had done nothing, where would they be? But that's the thing. It's the worst time to let go of your advisors. It's the worst time to stop advertising. It's a bit like when people do that over the summer and they go, well, we're not going to do any marketing because there's nobody here. But they might be a business where, dentistry or whatever, that need continuous customers. And I never understand it. It's times like this when you really need to sort of point out that you're here.
You need to have the courage, I suppose, really, to take a step back and think, no, this is what I think is right. Contrary to all the noise. Yeah. It's very difficult. It's very easy to be taken in by the noise.
I also really can't stress enough, I really wish business owners would stop wasting their time writing so many AI-generated LinkedIn posts and think that's going to be a huge source of referrals, of business, of clients, repeat clients. It's your data. It's getting out, meeting people. It's depending on what type of business you have, of course. But it's getting out, meeting people, building those relationships, making those relationships stronger, and surviving another day.
It's really interesting to me, because it comes down to this whole conversation seems to come down to the fact that it's actually you've got all the tools. You just have to, find out. Yeah, the hidden gem.
I never understand it. I think about where I spend money as a mother, as a woman, and I think about all those businesses where I would have been a customer, whether it's salons, beauty, wellness, my son's activities, the swimming club, and all of these things that I would have done over the last 13 years. I have a teenager now.
Mine are both out of their teens now.
But where are those businesses in terms of marketing, in terms of getting me back into the business? And this is where, in my masterclass, it's called frequency.
Right.
And this is where all businesses go wrong. So they get you in as a customer first time, and then it's down to you to remember to go back and spend more money with them, because there's no remarketing to bring you back.
Right, okay.
If you think about all the places you've been to, apart from maybe a lame-ass WhatsApp or something like that, Chanel did that to me once in Terminal 3. Oh my God, I was so horrified. I said, I'll let it go once, but I do prefer the usual format of communication.
Okay.
She goes, what's that? I said, well, a handwritten note. But anyway, but where are those businesses? You know, they don't remarket. Nobody remarkets.
So it's about keeping it up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Final question for you. From this is almost philosophical, actually. You're a strategist. That's kind of so. From your perspective, what is it that makes a really effective campaign, particularly when it's tough? Is there like I hate that phrase, secret sauce, but it sort of fits here.
What's a genuine?
Really effective. What is it? What are
I've just
the
done
components?
It.
No, but if you could encompass it for me, because this is the last question.
It's a really clear. Are you listening, Tim?
I am sorry. I just
I'm
sniffing.
Are you sniffing? I'm trying not to cough. You're sniffing. It's having a really clear directive.
Right.
Clear messaging.
Right.
None of this, go into this, visit our website, If you want people to take action, you make it really, really simple. So whenever I'm writing anything, whenever we're designing something, I read it and go, is this clear?
Right.
Is this super clear what I want someone to do? And you've got to remember, any more than 3 steps, you'll lose them.
Okay.
So it's keeping it really clear and concise, and if it's failing, i.e. there's no traction, it could be the messaging, it could be the design, but it's when you've mastered that, like we did with Camel Soap, which reminds me, I've got to send one out today. Got to keep on it to get onto that. So I'm obsessed now with this thing.
Well, that's good though, because in the end, you have to do the work, don't you?
Do the work and
You've got to
show
keep
up.
doing it.
Yeah, does that answer your question?
No, it does. It does. It answers it really well. You answer most of the questions.
What do you mean most of the questions? I answered everything.
You did answer everything. I just thought I'd put that in there. Lucy Bradley is the founder of Plug. I'm hoping you're going to come back and see us again and come in regularly.
You're going to have me.
For sure.
You're brave.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I might rue this day, but who knows? It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in again. All the best. This is Mira Business FM, online pretty much wherever you are.
Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio. Mira Business FM.
It's the morning drive. Paying the big bills, rent, school fees, and others might well get a little bit easier. More and more UAE consumers are starting to turn to monthly payments and direct debit. Umar Butt is the founder of Direct Debit System, DDS. It's the UAE's first central bank licensed fintech platform for recurring payments. And the company essentially helps consumers and businesses manage payments, things like rent or school fees or subscriptions or memberships. And Umar is with me now. It's good to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So look, you started DDS after you had your own, I guess, challenges in life with recurring expenses. Yes. How did that very personal experience lead to a business?
Excellent. So I am accountant by profession, right, and I was involved with the British system in early 2000 when UK was launching a modern version of current direct debit system called Baxtel IP.
Okay.
So I was on the consultative board representing the industry, so I had a little bit of idea. When I came here, my first business unfortunately failed in 2009.
Right.
And then I had to go into the job. So when you go into the job, what happens is you get a monthly salary.
Sure.
And where I had two school-going kids, so when I was paying their fee, funnily enough, I found out that I had to write 3 checks. And they were all bulk. And also, funnily enough, I had to pay 4 checks for my accommodation, for my flat.
Right.
And that, especially in August, September, when my check and my school fee would go, it would create a huge financial burden for a salaried person like me. And we would be tipped into the credit card because the 2 big checks, school fee and first check is always like, uniform and books and other things added on to the tuition fee. So that I always was sort of surprised why, in this country, we have to pay 4 checks or 2 checks or 3 checks for schools. And then in 2015, I dug into the direct debit system of UAE because they had it since 2010 and nobody was using it. So I had a kind of a contact in National Bank of Fujairah's CEO was a friend, and I requested him to give me some information so that I can sort of compare it with what we were doing in early 2000 in UK. And that's where basically the idea came from. I kind of talked to people why it was that we had to write 4 checks and 3 school checks, that I got to the root of the problem. And hence I thought it would be better if I do it myself.
Okay. I mean, it's a pain. Do you know what's a real pain, I think, is when it comes to signing checks. I don't know how many checks I've had, because my handwriting is like a general practitioner's at the best of times, let's be honest. I've had so many checks returned with signature does not match.
Mismatch, yes. But
it's time consuming. It used to be the case when you bought a car, you'd have to write 36 or 48
checks,
and sign checks. And
absolutely.
so it does make sense in that way. How is direct debit adoption here in the UAE? How would you characterize it?
Well, the adoption is going sort of at a much faster pace now than a year ago or 2 years ago. And there are reasons for that. Primarily, what's happening is the direct debit awareness wasn't there. And I mean, we can't provide the exact data, but I can tell you we are at the moment the largest direct debit provider or direct debit player.
Okay.
We have more clients than all the 52 banks combined for UAE at this point in time. We sponsor them to use direct debit.
Right.
And so I could be a really good source for you to have this information, why direct debit is not as prevalent as in the West.
Well, it's interesting this, because it seems to me that there are a number of things. The first thing is the mindset shift, this change.
Yes.
There's a legacy, isn't there, of, paying rent in a check or 2 or 3 or 4. And that's a hard kind of habit to break, I suppose, to paraphrase a Chicago song. So what is it that's now driving consumers towards monthly payment options at this point?
Correct. So we have to, if I could start from the cause, and then we would get to the effect, which we are seeing now. So first question is check. Why the checks? The check was never a payment instrument. It was always a security instrument. The people who were using it, they thought they would create a legal case. They can put people behind the bars, etc., if the check is bounced. That element is gone now. So this problem of check being the security instrument rather than a payment instrument was the first cause.
Well, it's no longer a criminal offence.
So that's no more a criminal offence, not up to 250,000.
Yeah.
So that one cause is gone. The second is that when you get into a habit, it's very hard to break. So the treasury of the big companies, they got into the habit of whether it's schools or, across the board I'm talking about. If you're getting 4 checks or 2 checks, you have this feeling that you're getting a upfront cash. And they base all their financial models or cash flow models based on those immediate cash, and their budgets then gets affected. So it's really hard to break that pattern if you are using it year on year on year. So that's basically the third reason is a little bit technical. I try to simplify it for you. And that is that almost all the big companies, the developers, even in this building, if you would ask them, they would say, okay, this building is financed by a bank A, let's say DIB. The other building, their building is financed by First Abu Dhabi Bank, for example.
Okay.
Now, DIB or FAB want all the income which is coming from that building to come directly to their bank account.
Right.
It's called the assignment of receivable. And direct debit, before we came on, direct debit was only available through banks. So if they do with DIB, then this building would go to DIB. Then they will have to do another direct debit with FAB, and then another direct debit with another bank. So this assignment means average, believe it or not, is 10 financing banks. So you can imagine it's practically impossible for any company of any size to do direct debit with 10 banks. It's just not possible for finance function. So these three things, and the reason why I started this, because I believed we could solve all these 3 problems. Now, the treasury one, where they have this cash flow issue, this would change. You might have heard the flexi rent option initiative from Dubai Land Department, which is an excellent initiative. Then you see UAE central banks. If you order checkbook now, it won't be more than 10 leaves. It used to be 50.
That's right.
So they're restricting it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of initiatives. If you see, the government is trying desperately to move away from this to digital payment systems. Digital, first of all, no checks, no paper, but also monthly, because 96.7% of population is monthly salaried population in UAE. And what we are trying to educate merchants, the landlords, the schools, is that it's McKinsey's study that if you allow a monthly salaried person pay monthly, let them pay monthly, your bounced payment rate goes down by 41%.
Well, that would be, to me, that seems, I was going to say, no, obvious is the word, actually, because it becomes much simpler for people. But you have to break the habit, you got to break the mindset. If I say to my landlord, well, I'd like to pay you by direct debit, I'd get a very puzzled look at this point. I know that. So it's going to take time. But how does a modern direct debit infrastructure replace checks so that you have this, because the feeling of security with the check, right? You said it's a security instrument. So that, direct debit offers that secure feeling and lower friction. No, I wouldn't say it's a secure feeling. In the country, in UAE, there are only 2 payment instruments which are decreed by through a royal decree. One is the check,
The other one is direct debit.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I will answer your question by saying that the check is absolutely equal to direct debit in the legal way terms.
Right.
So if you are a landlord, you should, if your landlord has given you weird looks, you should tell him that direct debit bounce is equivalent to, through RDC's eyes, to start a legal case against you in case you decide to go funny with him. So
Oh, I'm not going to go funny with my
I know
landlord, I
you
promise. I wouldn't do that.
So
But
that,
that's interesting because in that case, there is education needed in that regard, isn't
that's
it?
right. Yes.
Yeah.
The education is why I'm here as well. Through you, I'm hoping people would get it because, look, Tim, it's probably, I don't know if it's the right thing to say or not, but we have seen that if a payer or a tenant or a parent is from West, they sign direct debit so quickly once they get the offer to pay by direct debit. And where direct debit is not very commonplace, like in subcontinent, we get a little pushback, the questions. So what I would love to say to your audience through you is that, look, direct debit is a UAE central bank backed system. It has a lot of protections built into the system. It actually solves a lot of problem for not only you, i.e. monthly payments, but also for your landlord, the guy who you are paying to. He or she will feel secure as well. There is less friction, and there is a lot less cost involved for both. So instead of having this cashback and all the other fancy stuff around your necessary expenses, it is better that you pay monthly by direct debit, a system which is not a foreign system. It is a central bank's local system. It goes through local rails. It does not travel on any international rail, and it is protected by the UAE central bank's guidance and frameworks.
Well, that's a message we need to hear more about because I wasn't aware that the check and direct debit was essentially equivalent.
Absolutely equal.
Okay. So in terms of personal finance, monthly expenses, you can see how it can really help spread things. Managing large expenses for families, as you pointed out earlier, you could be much more effective in that. But what does direct debit mean for merchants in terms of costs, collections? And I guess there's this impact on cash flow because it's a much more accurate sense of trackable cash flow, isn't it?
Absolutely. Look, in terms of cost, the biggest difference for the cost is, which we have seen, is for the schools on the credit card charges. So usually if you are a business and you have on your website, you're accepting credit cards, you would be paying somewhere, if you are lucky, 1% to all the way to 3% of the transaction value.
So 3% more likely, unfortunately.
Yes, if you're high risk.
Yeah.
So that is on your credit card, that's a lot. If, let's say, your rent is 10,000 dirham, for example, a monthly rent, and you take it on that credit card, a 3% would be 300 dirhams for that. Whereas the same card, but on direct debit, local UAE rail, using direct debit, you would pay somewhere between 7 dirham to 10 dirhams. So that is a lot of cost saving. We have a lot of recommendations from schools who were paying in the tunes of millions as well in these credit card charges. The second biggest saving for the client is the operational cost. So direct debit is one-time signing. So just like check, you sign one time through UAE Pass. There is no paper involved anywhere, zero paper. And then whether it's 12 payments or 36 payments, it on the due date, as long as you have sufficient balance in your bank account, you will get notification a day before or 3 days before to keep the enough balance in your bank.
Right.
And it would automatically go and update the merchant Salesforce, their Oracle, their ERDs, their whatever the system they use. We have API system, which goes and it automatically reconciles their bank with their ledger. So there is basically the human involvement would only be if direct debit is bounced. Then they have to represent the direct debit, or they have to start a legal case, etc. For the happy path, we provide a zero human intervention policy. So there is basically no need for an army of accountants, to be honest.
Okay. Can I ask you about the central bank aspects? It's a milestone, I think, in some ways. Direct debit system is you're the first central bank licensed fintech platform.
Yeah.
I'm reading the quote here for recurring payments. Why was central bank integration so important for you?
Well, the first and foremost was the points I mentioned why UAE is still relying on checks was the assignment of receivable.
Right.
And, then there is other things which are, for example, banks like you to come onto their platform. They don't want you to drop anything into your platform and then pick something up from you. So if you have a company of, let's say, a medium-sized company, and you say, I'm going to directly communicate with the bank, it's going to cost you an awful lot of money, Tim. That's just the reality of it.
Banks don't like you reinventing the wheel either, do they?
Exactly. So it's due to that reason as well. We thought that instead of that, we would just totally become bank agnostic. We will disengage. That's what, to answer your question, I wrote a white paper for governor of central bank, and I said, you're given the banks since 2010. You can give them another 20 years and it would not work because of X, Y, Z reason. I have a plan. If we do this in this particular way, then we would address the root cause of why UAE is not moving away from checks. So it does not need another fancy this scheme or another cashback scheme. It just needs a down-to-earth, really black and white central bank license regulated system where merchant can save money on processing and client, instead of running after the small cashback or other airline points, simply pay monthly, remain out of any expensive credit card debt. Just, you get a salary, you pay out, you plan your monthly expenses.
Sure.
So anyway, thankfully, I changed the business model in 2021 by integrating directly into central bank. We were not integrated before.
And that regulatory backing, I guess, goes a long way to
Absolutely, yes.
consumer trust, corporate trust.
Absolutely,
as well.
absolutely.
Okay. And UAE Pass, I suppose, makes it a little bit faster.
yes,
there's a great deal of trust there.
UAE passes, I think now more than 5 million. Last I checked was close to 5 million, but I'm pretty sure it's now more than 5 million. More and more government services are ongoing on UAE Pass. It's the single trusted digital identity of UAE for residents and for the citizens. So we were told central bank that, look, one of the problems why checks bit is not the one you mentioned was the signature mismatch, and the direct debit mandate is 3 pages, and then you sign it, and then you send it off by post to the bank, and the bank would reply after 1 week, signature mismatch, and then you call your tenant again, another week, come in, sign another one, and it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
So I took some frameworks and some laws, and wrote this to central bank that, look, if UAE Pass signatures are accepted by federal government and Dubai government and almost all the governments, why don't you also accept its signatures on direct debit? And thankfully, some people are really sort of forward-looking, and they accepted it. They said, yes, it is basically more secure than the wet signature which people do on mandates or on the checks. So right now, there is basically zero process. If you are a tenant, you would sign with UAE Pass. The other point is, very quickly, is basically direct debit only works if you have a UAE bank account or a UAE credit card.
Yes.
So if you are not so you can't put direct debit on a UK credit card or UK debit card, number one. But also, if you are not a resident or citizen of this country, direct debit, unfortunately, is not for you.
Okay. Can we just consider the practical applications in high-value sectors? You mentioned the two at the outset, rent and school fees. Landlords traditionally prefer a one-check payment. I mean, who wouldn't like a big
Who
lump
wouldn't
sum?
like it, yes.
How are property managers and landlords, first of all, adapting to monthly rental collections, do you think? Because, fintech is the buzz, isn't it?
Yes. The adoption, if I give you our example, so we grown 4 times from 2024 to 2025, and in March this year, we've already done what we did in 2025. So this actually tells you that if we are growing, this means the adoption and the direct debit is growing.
Yeah.
So I must admit it's not growing as faster as it should. But there is certainly a change. We can feel it with the acceleration and with more and more verticals coming in. So we have now car rental suddenly became, I think it's now 15% of our portfolio. We never thought car rental would be. These are long-term lease lease rentals. So at the moment, almost all the big ones are our clients. And their usage is becoming. So, look, Tim, there is definitely going to be change, and the change is not going to be in like 2027, 2028. It is going to happen very, very fast.
It's happening now.
It's happening now. We are observing it. But it's just one of those things. I don't want to jinx it to say, by next year, everybody would be paying monthly and everybody would be on direct debit.
Do you know what's interesting to me is that this has been a very unusual 5-6 months,
Yes.
obviously, for most residents, citizens, I guess. And it's interesting that you're observing this at this time as well. I guess there's a case study in there somewhere. What about school fees? Notoriously heavy, cash flow strains for families. How are educational institutions integrating into monthly direct
So
debits?
we had in 2025 we only had 8 independent schools, private schools.
Okay.
This year we had about 42 schools, including bigger groups like Talim and some other groups, quite large ones, Eldar academies.
Okay.
They have a huge school number, British schools and American curriculums in Abu Dhabi and Al Ain. So they're all on paperless direct debits now. So as I said, if there is a speed and there is an acceleration from 0 to 100, I think we are at 50. So we are going to accelerate it to the full speed pretty soon. We are not there yet. We probably going to need 1 more year for all the schools to be convinced that giving 10 payment options is way, way better for their cash flow predictability and ensuring the bounced payment are less, and also helping the parents. Let's face it, rent and school fee are more than 50% of your incoming salary. So
I think helping parents out, schools are very much kind of communities, and I think the thing that you can do to really encourage parents is maybe help them out a little bit. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, absolutely.
From a positive kind of business perspective, I think. How do you encourage people? I mean, it seems as though you don't need to do a great deal of encouragement in the way things are going, but how are you going to encourage more consumers, more businesses to embrace direct debit?
Well, the very different two very different convincing, the business and because they both have very different and sometimes conflicting sort of interests.
Yeah.
So the tenant, the payer wants everything monthly, and they want flexibility all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas the merchant on the other side wants everything upfront, and they don't want flexibility. So, Tim, there is basically convincing, as I said, from the aspects of offering them incredibly low prices for collecting illegal payment, which they would have collected it with check and sending somebody. Some companies send a person's job is to go from one bank to the other bank depositing checks. So it basically is the biggest driver, I think, for us is to give them a cost benefit for merchant. And for payers, it's just the people like you to basically tell people that if you get a offer to pay by direct debit, please accept it, because it is a central bank backed system. It is not some fancy San Francisco fintech system who brought it out. It is a legal decreed system.
Well, that's the message today, and I didn't realise, but that I think is the upshot of our whole conversation today, that the cheque and direct debit are, equal.
Yes.
One final question for you, Mayor. Whether you're a business leader or a consumer like me, what's your message? What's one piece of advice when it comes to managing recurring financial payments? What would you say to people?
I would say that avoid the easy part. For when I say easy way is, let's say a credit card offer which says 0% all the way and you pay your fee. Look, it is a trap. I don't want to use the word trap, but it is.
You just did.
I know, I did. I'm sorry. But it is a calculation made somewhere that some of you would fail, and that's how they would make money. Right. Nothing is free. So instead of going to any shiny, fancy options, convince your biller, your merchant, that you just want to pay monthly and you want to pay through the means which country has provided, instead of having any sort of cashback offers or balance transfer offers or put the stuff away for future. Don't do this. That's my sort of...
So this is a tool that you can use.
Direct debit is the tool. Benefit. Correct. It is a tool. If you would pay by credit card, you wouldn't get any cash back if you are paying by direct debit on your UAE issued credit card. But at the other end, your biller, your merchant, is also not getting charged 2% or 3%.
Right, okay.
So it's a win-win for both. You pay monthly, you still get your credit period, whatever, if you want to get credit period. So basically, it's just keeping things simple is the way to go, instead of having X offer or Y offer. You simply pay out what you earn and pay out every month, so you can budget better and you can sort of not get into any of these.
Well, I was going to say that. It tightens up personal budgeting, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
There's that side as well.
Absolutely. It's everywhere, Tim, where you are monthly salaried, you should pay out monthly as well. The minute you start paying in bulk payments anywhere, you would get, whether you have a decent financial literacy, you would still not be able to control it, because there would be some aspects which are not in your control. And just like me, you would get into, you mean somebody would get into, it could be your friend, you could be neighbor, even if you are very on time with your credit card payments. So it's better not to go there if you're going to get into risk area. Just pay monthly. Pay by direct debit. It's a legal system backed by central bank, and budget monthly.
That's the advice. Samir Butt is the founder of Direct Debit System, DDS. It's the UAE's first central bank licensed fintech platform for recurring payments. It'd be good to meet you. Good to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming
having me.
Stay up to date with all of our content at mirabusiness.fm.
Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio. Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio. Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
It's the morning drive. Indonesia celebrates its Independence Day today, and we are spotlighting one of the Indonesians championing Indonesian cuisine in Dubai. A few months ago, Bobby Bowl was facing some serious challenges, and the co-founder Silvana Sari revealed she'd even considered closing her restaurant. So now we're going to find out what happened next, how the business is doing today, what it took, and I can reveal, to keep Bobby Bowl going. Silvana's here. She's the co-founder of Bobby Bowl Modern Indonesian Restaurant. Nice to see you again.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for visiting us again.
Do you know what? It's good to welcome you, but happy Independence Day, first of all. Is that what you do? Do you say happy Independence? I don't know what you say. Congratulations on
We
your...
say Dirgahayu Merdeka.
What does that mean?
I don't exactly know what's actual mean, but this Dirgahayu means like we're in a spirit of independence.
Okay, well, that's cool. Well,
Yeah.
in the spirit of Independence Day today, let's have a conversation about you, because I think yours is such a great story of resilience. I mean, when we first met, Silvana, you were facing some pretty severe financial hurdles, operational hurdles with the conflict. People just weren't visiting the restaurant like they were. And you were very open about it. You were considering closing down, and you came on, the courage to come on and talk about what you were facing. But it has changed. I know that. So just run through what's changed and where was the turning point for you?
So basically, after all the conversation that we had, we refined the positioning of our restaurants,
Okay.
simplifying the menus, like removing some menus that were no longer selling well, and also, to be honest, slight adjustment on the pricing.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is we decided to invest in the PR and marketing.
Yeah, okay. At a
Yeah.
time when lots of people, I guess, were cutting back on
Yes, exactly.
those costs. So you were struggling and you got to this point where I know you were, we're going to close here. That was kind of where you were, weren't you?
Yeah, we were scared.
I know. And the business, compared to, when did it was about 4 months ago, I think, when you were in here.
May.
Was it in May?
Yeah.
Okay. To now, over the summer, a traditionally quite kind of quieter period as well. How's the business doing now compared?
It's doing well now, and we're thriving. So people are coming back, revenue coming in,
Okay.
and actually we have plenty of new people discovering Bobby Bowl.
Well, that's the thing, isn't
the
it? You've
first
got to bring
time.
you got to keep the regulars, but bring in new
Yeah.
people all the time.
Yes.
So what changed, do you think?
I think they just found out that Bobby Bowls exist.
Right.
Be it from social media, because we're also pushing marketing ads on Meta, Facebook, Instagram,
Uh-huh.
and also we're getting media features
Mm-hmm.
thanks to the PR strategy. And yeah, like I'm here also. Maybe the audience also listening, and then interesting. I want to visit Bobby Bowl. I want to try. How good is that, right? And also the Google rating that we have. Again, I would say 5-star. Proud.
I can understand that. Well, that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Do you know what really interests me about you is how you've been able to stay the course? Because I think it takes guts to face really difficult times, obviously. And it's you and your husband's the chef, so it's you two guys together. So you're married. That has its trials. We all know that. But you're also running a business, so it's a double deal, if you like.
Yeah.
As a co-founder, dealing with the prospect of failure, because you were looking into the lens, right? That's difficult. How did you maintain leadership? How did you get your team to go with you? And how did you stay resilient yourself when things were tough?
Because we believe in our vision.
Right.
We have faith, of course. We have a good product. We believe in it. And the thing is, we just need to be consistent, delivering the good service, good food, and good value to the customers. And then we also encourage our team, like to they also believe in the brand, because they know we are very close as a team also, and we motivate them, and they're happy. They stay happy as well.
And
even during the busiest time, they're still laughing together, even though they're under pressure.
Oh, you want to see smiling faces in a restaurant, that's for sure, I guess.
Yes.
I remember when you were here before, you talked a lot about community.
Yeah.
The regular customers that come to you, people looking for real deal Indonesian food, which is something everybody should try before they die. How important has the community, particularly the Indonesian community in Dubai, been for you?
They're very important, of course, because we share the food, we share the culture, so they know our food better than non-Indonesian. So when they come and then they try it and they said, "Oh, this is really good food," it means a lot to us as well, because it comes from the people who knows the food. So, and naturally, they're recommending us to all the friends.
See, that's the best form of feedback, though, isn't it?
Yes.
If
Word of mouth is really
the word of mouth
powerful.
thing.
Yeah.
This is there you're going to get the real McCoy. That's the
Yeah.
How has the community responded to you? Getting back to a place where you feel a bit happier, you feel like you're a bit more successful. What's the feeling in the restaurant now?
It's bustling right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my team also always keep happy. That's what I encourage them to be always happy and serve with a smile. And
Well, you're always smiley.
come on, ex-cabin crew. What do you
Yeah, well, this is
expect?
true. Yeah, I suppose you have to put up with a lot with the smile, the gritted teeth thing. Yeah, I can get that. Eh, what was the biggest lesson for you from, because it was very tough? What did you learn from
The
what you went
biggest lesson
Yeah,
that is, even if you have good product, it's not enough if people don't know that you exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to be out there. You have to tell people who you are, what you're offering, and why they should choose you.
do you think it's changed you? Are you happy in that? Because you've had to take kind of a starring role, haven't you, in lots of ways? Because it's very
Yes.
much you're kind of the front.
Yeah.
You're kind of the face of the restaurant, I suppose. Your husband is, the chef.
Yeah.
I guess
He's
is he-
behind the scene.
He's behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
the creative guy, whatever we'll call him that. Are you happy in that role? The
Yeah,
starring
of
role?
course.
Yeah.
Because it's all in my mind. It's all in my brain. It's all my vision. So I know better than anyone. So of course it should be me that telling people, and it's the passion as well that keeps me going.
You were cabin crew for some years, and then you decided to open a restaurant. That's a pretty, not risky strategy, but it's brave, because running an independent, a modern concept in Dubai is, this is a hyper competitive food scene, isn't it?
Very hard.
It's very tough. What were the biggest operational and maybe financial adjustments you've had to make to survive, do you think?
The adjustment
Yeah,
You meant that-
aside from the menu, obviously you've taken things off, you've adjusted your menus. What else have you had to do?
well, operational wise, we don't really change that much
Okay.
because we've been operating for almost 2 years, and during that 2 years period, we validated the operational and the food, the quality, the consistency that we deliver, and I would say we're doing pretty good in that because every time we see the challenge, then we overcome it directly. So, operation wise, we're good, and financial wise, we have to be careful with the cash flow.
Sure.
The ingredients costs are still above
They're higher, aren't they?
normal one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have to manage the wastage and the where we can buy cheaper ingredients with the same quality from which suppliers. That's also the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also we have to divide it into the PR and marketing.
Yeah. Which has worked for you. I mean,
yes, it's worth it.
it's a re-examination, isn't it, of
Yeah.
your whole system? I mean, that it's not a benefit that anybody was looking for, I guess, but you've had to sort of be more resourceful, be more inventive. You're part of it's a growing food scene. There's
Yeah.
food from all kinds of fusion. There's all kinds of kind of indigenous food. It's a huge scene here. Do you think that Indonesian cuisine is getting the recognition that it deserves?
Yes, I think it started to get the recognition from people because
Yeah.
in Bobby Bowl we see many nationalities coming to try. So not only Indonesian customers that we have also Westerner, Indian, European, and other Asian countries as well. So it's really good that many people also come and say tell us that this is my first time trying Indonesian food.
Right.
So that was really interesting because that means they're willing to try. They're willing to explore something new. And
I mean, the thing with it is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've done a lot of traveling in Indonesia. I think it's a lot of traveling until I look at the size of and the
Yes.
number of islands.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of Indonesian food over the years, but it's so diverse. It's so different, island to island, town to town.
Yeah.
It seems to me, but it's less mainstream in the Middle East, isn't it, compared to other Southeast Asian countries? I mean, what we know as Chinese food
Yeah.
is an adaptation of lots of different things. What are people like what kind of reaction do you get when people first come there and first try the flavours?
Of course, we're very happy, and then we're trying to recommending to them. Sorry, we're recommending to them which cuisine that is good for first timer. If they like spicy or they don't eat spicy, so we have a balance of menu that is not overwhelming because many people think, oh, Indonesian is always spicy food. So that's why they're hesitated to try Indonesian cuisine because they're scared if it would be too spicy for them.
Yeah.
But in Bobby Bowl, we have options for them as well.
Yeah. Okay. What's the biggest challenge running a restaurant at the moment, do you think?
In Dubai,
Yeah.
it's competition and the visibility. Dubai has how many, like thousands restaurants
I mean,
competing for the same market?
the thing is, well, that's the thing, isn't it? You look at Dubai, and we all have our favourites that we go to.
Yes.
And there are so many more to try.
Yeah, that's why even Indonesian cuisine also not. I'm not the only one Indonesian restaurants in Dubai.
Yeah.
There are so many other options, so it's really tough to make them to attract them.
Yeah.
So we have to have like a really unique selling point that differentiate us from other restaurants, and also we have to be out there again. Visibility.
Well,
They have to know that you're there.
that's the theme of the interview here, I think.
Yeah.
How does it feel now after such a tough time that you were very honest about? How does it feel now that you're on maybe a more sustainable path so that things are going better?
We're very optimistic because now is currently summer where you usually find it as a quieter month.
Yeah.
But we're doing well in summer months, so we're very optimistic on the months ahead, and we're preparing for the busier season.
It's funny, isn't it? I've been talking to people, and I mean, I'm hoping we're going to see some sort of resolution. It's the 60-day period that President Trump put in place is up to date.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful that we get some sort of resolution going forwards. My worry is whether September to December is going to be a little bit too busy because it's makeup time. So
Yeah.
I suppose there's a warning for you. Maybe it's going to go crazy.
We're preparing.
I know, I bet you are. It's Independence Day today for Indonesia. What does that mean to you personally? Because you're championing the food, but you're also championing Indonesian culture, I think, to an extent as well. What does that mean to you?
It means very personal because I'm Indonesian, and well, to be honest, we're not the only one who are actively creating awareness of the Indonesian food and Indonesian cultures. Many other people does the same thing as well.
Sure, but I mean, you're part of that, aren't you? It must be important, I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is, we try to deliver the excellent food.
Yeah.
And we're innovating. So it's not just like the mainstream food. You would say people know rendang, people know nasi goreng, but it has like a different varieties
Sure.
across the world. So when we see people trying Indonesian food for the first time at Bobby Bowl, and then they're happy, they really enjoy the experience, it really means a lot, and it feels like we did our job. We did our part in introducing Indonesian to global audience.
I just think if you've not had rendang, then you're missing out. That's just a personal opinion. You turn the corner now. So what's next? What's your vision for the brand over maybe the next couple of years? You say you're innovating. Are you looking at new concepts? Are you looking at expanding? Is that part of the mindset?
So we're still gonna be continuing to strengthen the brand across the UAE, and because still a lot of people don't know there's Bobby Bowl here. And also we're preparing for expansion because so many people asking us, oh, please open in Abu Dhabi, please open in GLT, JVC or that areas.
Yeah.
Because we're in Almina, Jumeirah 1. So it's in northern Dubai. So the southern part, they don't get to order delivery. So the delivery range is out of service areas.
I mean, it would make sense,
It's
wouldn't
too
it, to
far.
be somewhere like JLT or out
Yeah.
towards, I don't know, Dubai Land-ish or
Yeah.
somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Can I ask you this? If you were to go back to the moment that you were considering closing, what would you tell yourself from where you are now?
I would say thank you for not giving up and just stay a little longer. Everything will be okay.
So it was worth it. All the
It's
trouble in
worth
the
it,
end was all the headache.
But also, it's part of the lesson.
Yeah.
If that incident didn't happen, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be operating like the way we were right now, repositioning like the way we are right now.
Right.
So it's all like lessons. Very expensive lesson, to be honest.
Well, I bet, yeah. So would that be the advice that you know, to any other independent restaurant owner? It would be just, you know, stay the course and get the word out there.
Yeah, but more important thing, you have to the quality that you deliver, it has to be good. It has to be excellent.
Right.
And then if it's already good, excellent, then you need to be out there. Because what's the point of being out there but your food is not good?
Yeah.
People are coming and then disappointed and they're not going to come back. So it's part of the circle.
Well, in the spirit of independence, all the best. It's good to see you
Thank
smiling.
you so much.
Even wider than you normally do. Silvana Sari is the co-founder of Bobby Bowl Restaurant. It's an Indonesian restaurant here in Dubai, and things are looking up. Good to see you.
Thank you. And don't forget to visit today because only today we're giving out free dessert. It's called Klepon Merah Putih.
Klepon Merah Putih.
So it's like a mochi bowl.
Uh-huh.
It's not mochi, but it looks like mochi.
Okay.
So it's like a pancake wrapped in a bowl with palm sugars inside and coconut outside, grated coconut. So
Okay.
it's sweet.
And
Usually it's green, but today we colored it red
oh, I see. In
because
the
the
spirit
flag is
of,
red and white.
There you go. Savannah, good to talk to you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Don't forget to like, to follow, and subscribe for more interviews like this. This is Mira Business FM.
Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.